Story 1. The basement room listing. I didn't think much about the ad at first. It was cheap. That was all that mattered. I had just moved to the city for college and my savings were almost gone. Rent prices were insane and every place I contacted either wanted a long lease, high deposits, or roommates I didn't know. Then I saw the listing on Craigslist. Basement room for rent. Quiet house. No drama. Month to month. Utilities included. The price was far lower than anything else I had seen. That alone should have been a red flag, but when you're desperate, you ignore things like that. I emailed the number listed. The reply came fast. The man said his name was Mark. He told me the room was still available and asked when I could come see it. I said that evening. He said that worked. The address was in a normal neighborhood. Small houses, clean lawns, streetlights already coming on as the sun started to set. Nothing felt wrong when I pulled up. The house looked old but taken care of. Mark opened the door almost immediately after I knocked. He was in his late 40s, maybe early 50s. Calm voice, polite smile. He didn't seem nervous or strange. He invited me inside and talked the entire time, mostly about how quiet the house was and how he preferred tenants who kept to themselves. That sounded fine to me. The main floor looked normal. Living room, kitchen, hallway. Clean but very plain. No family photos. No personal items. It felt more like a place someone passed through than lived in. The room is downstairs, he said, already walking toward the basement door. The door was at the end of the hallway, thick, solid. It had a lock on it. That's for privacy, he said quickly, like he was answering a question I hadn't asked. He unlocked it and led the way down. The basement was colder than the rest of the house. The air smelled slightly damp, like old concrete. The room itself was small but clean. A bed, a desk, a lamp. One narrow window near the ceiling, frosted so you couldn't see outside. This is the room, he said. Bathroom is shared just outside. I noticed the window didn't open. Is it sealed? I asked. Yeah, he said casually. Old house, keeps the heat in. I didn't like that, but I told myself it wasn't a big deal. Lots of basements are like that. What about the door? I asked. Can I lock it? Yes, he said, but I keep a spare key, house rule. That made me pause. I don't know why, but something about that felt wrong. Why? I asked. Safety, he said. In case of emergencies. I nodded, even though I didn't fully believe him. I asked about internet, laundry, guests. He answered everything, but always vaguely. Guests weren't allowed. Internet was shared. Laundry was by request. Before I left, he asked if I wanted the room. I said I needed to think about it. He smiled again. Rooms like this go fast. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about the place, mostly because I didn't have many other options. The next cheapest room I found was double the price. I told myself I was overthinking it. The next morning, I messaged him and said I'd take it. He replied almost instantly. I moved in 2 days later. The first night was quiet, too quiet. The basement didn't pick up cell service, so I relied on Wi-Fi. It worked, but it was slow. The room felt colder than before, even with a space heater he provided. Around midnight, I heard footsteps upstairs. That was normal, I told myself. He lived there, but the footsteps didn't move like someone walking from room to room. They paced, back and forth, always stopping right above the basement door. Then the basement door opened. I sat up in bed. The hallway light turned on. Mark stood at the top of the stairs, not coming down, just standing there. Everything okay? He asked. Yeah, I said. Just settling in. He nodded and closed the door. The footsteps stopped. The next few days followed the same pattern. Quiet during the day, footsteps at night. Sometimes the basement door opened. Sometimes it didn't. I started locking my room door. One evening, I noticed something strange. There was a second lock on the outside of my door. It wasn't there before. I asked him about it. Oh, he said, that's old, must have been hidden behind the frame. It clearly wasn't old. The metal looked new. No rust, no scratches. That night I tested the door. From the inside I could lock it. But if someone locked it from the outside, I couldn't unlock it. That's when I stopped sleeping. I started keeping my shoes on at night, my phone charged, backpack ready. One afternoon, while Mark was out, I explored the basement a little more. Behind the bathroom, there was a storage area. Shelves, boxes, cleaning supplies, and a door, a heavy door, locked. I pressed my ear against it. Nothing. But the lock was on my side. I tried it. It was unlocked. Inside was another room, no furniture, just concrete walls and a drain in the floor. And scratch marks on the inside of the door. I didn't wait. I packed my bag and waited until Mark came home. "I'm leaving," I said. He looked surprised, then disappointed. "Already?" "Yes," he sighed. "You should have given it time." I grabbed my bag and headed for the basement door. It didn't open. Locked. "I just need my deposit back," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. "There was no deposit," he said. I turned to face him. "You can't lock me down here." He smiled, but this time it didn't reach his eyes. "I didn't," he said. "You did. House rule." That's when I heard the click, the lock on my room door. From the outside, I ran up the stairs and slammed my shoulder into the basement door. It didn't move. I started yelling. He didn't respond. Then I heard sirens. Real ones. He unlocked the door immediately. Turns out a neighbor had reported screaming earlier that week. Police were doing a welfare check. I walked out without looking back. Later, the police told me there was no record of a rental license for the house, no record of past tenants. The listing was gone. So was Mark. Story 2. The ride we didn't take. I wasn't even looking for rides when I saw the ad. It showed up while I was scrolling through Craigslist late one night, half asleep, just killing time. The title was simple: Driving Cross-State. Cheap ride, leaving New Year's morning. I had already booked a bus ticket to visit my cousin after New Year's, but the timing wasn't great. Long ride, multiple stops. I clicked the ad out of curiosity. The post said the driver was heading from the city to a town only 20 minutes from where I needed to go. He asked for gas money only. No small talk, no music, just a quiet ride. It sounded perfect. I messaged him. He replied faster than I expected. His name was Evan. He said he was leaving early morning around 6 a.m. He asked how much luggage I had and if I was comfortable sitting in the back seat. That question felt strange, but I ignored it. I told him I had one backpack. "Good," he replied. "Travel light." We agreed to meet at a grocery store parking lot just off the highway, public place. That made me feel safer. That night, I told my cousin about it. She didn't like the idea. "You don't know this guy," she said. "It's just a ride," I replied. "People do this all the time." I wish I had listened to her. I barely slept that night. Around 4 a.m., I woke up to a message from Evan. "Running early. Can you meet at 5:30? I hesitated. That was still dark. Stores wouldn't even be open. "Parking lot will be empty," he added. "Easier that way." I told him yes. At 5:20 a.m., I arrived at the grocery store. The parking lot was empty, just like he said. No cars, no people, only streetlights and fog drifting low over the pavement. I parked near the entrance and waited. At exactly 5:30, a dark SUV pulled in. It didn't park near me. It stopped at the far end of the lot under a broken streetlight. The engine stayed running. A minute passed. Then my phone buzzed. "I'm here," I replied. "Where?" "Back corner," he wrote. "Come over." I didn't move right away. Something about walking across an empty parking lot toward a running car felt wrong. I told myself I was being paranoid, but my stomach felt tight. I texted back, "Can you pull closer?" There was a pause. Then the SUV slowly rolled toward me and stopped a few spaces away. The driver's window rolled down. Evan leaned out. He looked normal, mid-30s, clean, calm. He smiled like we already knew each other. "You ready?" he asked. "Yeah," I said, forcing a smile. I walked closer and noticed the back windows were tinted so dark I couldn't see inside. "You mind if I sit up front?" I asked. He shook his head immediately. "Back seat only," he said. "Front's messy." That didn't make sense. The front seat looked clean from what I could see. I hesitated. "You okay?" he asked. "We need to leave now." I nodded and reached for the back door handle. It didn't open. "Child lock," he said quickly. "I'll unlock it." He leaned forward, pressed something, and the door clicked open. The inside smelled strange. Not bad, just heavy. Like air that hadn't moved in a long time. There was nothing in the back seat. No bags, no trash, no signs anyone ever sat there. I placed my backpack on the floor and climbed in. As soon as I closed the door, the locks clicked. All of them. We pulled out of the lot. For the first few minutes, neither of us spoke. The road was empty, just darkness and highway lights. I tried to relax. So I said, "You do this often?" "Sometimes," he replied. "Depends who's riding." That answer made my chest tighten. "What do you mean?" I asked. He didn't answer. A few minutes later, I noticed something else. He wasn't taking the highway entrance. "Hey," I said, "the highway's back there." "I know," he said calmly. "Shortcut." We turned onto a narrow road lined with trees. No houses. No lights. My phone lost signal. I checked the door handle again. Locked. "Can you unlock the door?" I asked. "It's a habit, makes me nervous." "No," he said. My heart started pounding. "Why not?" I asked. "People jump out," he said. "I don't like surprises." We drove deeper into the trees. I watched the road signs disappear. "Where are we going?" I asked. "The same place," he said. "Just quieter." I didn't believe him. I started texting my cousin anyway, even without signal. I typed where I was, who I was with, anything. I hoped the messages would send eventually. Then I noticed something on the floor near my feet. Scratches. Long, deep marks in the carpet. Like someone had dragged something heavy, or someone had tried to dig their way out. "Stop the car," I said. He didn't respond. "Stop the car," I said louder. He finally glanced at me in the mirror. "You shouldn't have answered the ad," he said quietly. That's when I knew this wasn't just uncomfortable. This was dangerous. I grabbed my backpack and slammed it against the window. Nothing. I reached for the door handle again. Locked. "People panic," he said calmly. "It never helps." I started screaming. He turned the radio up. Static filled the car. Then headlights appeared ahead. Another car. He slowed down. I didn't think. I acted. As we passed the other car, I threw myself forward and slammed my shoulder against the front seat, reaching for the steering wheel. The SUV swerved. He shouted for the first time. The car veered onto the shoulder and stopped hard. Before he could react, I kicked the door with everything I had. The lock failed. I fell out onto the road and ran. I didn't look back. I ran until my lungs burned, waving my arms, screaming. The other car stopped. A couple got out and pulled me inside their vehicle. They drove me straight to the nearest police station. I told them everything. They went back to the area with me. The road was empty. No SUV, no tire marks. The Craigslist ad was gone. Police said there was no record of Evan, no plate, no matches. They told me I was lucky. I still don't take rides from strangers. And every New Year's morning, I think about that empty parking lot and wonder how many people got in that car and never made it out. Story 3. The job that paid in cash. I wasn't searching for trouble. I was searching for work. After losing my job just before New Year's, I needed money fast. Rent was coming up and savings were almost gone. That's why I was scrolling through Craigslist late at night, looking under gigs. That's when I saw it. Short-term help needed, cash paid daily, no experience required. The post didn't say much else, just a phone number and a time window to call. Normally, I would skip ads like that. Too vague, too risky, but desperation makes you ignore instincts. I called the number the next morning. A man answered. His voice was calm and quiet. He said his name was Daniel. He told me the job involved light warehouse work and that it would last a few days. Cash paid at the end of each shift. I asked where the warehouse was. He hesitated, then gave me an address in an industrial area outside the city. "Come by at 7 p.m., he said. "We work nights." That alone made me uneasy, but night work paid better and I didn't have options. I told him I'd be there. The address led me to an old warehouse at the edge of a business park. Most of the buildings around it were empty. No signs, no lights. Just a single floodlight over the entrance. I parked and sat in my car for a moment, debating whether to leave. Then I saw the door open. Daniel stepped out and waved. He looked normal, mid-40s, work boots, hoodie. No strange behavior. "You're on time," he said. Inside, the warehouse was mostly empty. No machines, no forklifts, just stacks of large cardboard boxes wrapped in plastic. "The job is simple," he said, "sorting and labeling." I asked what we were sorting. "Returns," he said, "old inventory." He handed me gloves and led me to a table set up near the back. There were no windows inside, just overhead lights buzzing softly. For the first hour, nothing felt wrong. We opened boxes, checked items against lists, sealed them again. No talking, just work. Then I noticed something strange. The boxes didn't have company logos. No barcodes, no shipping labels, just numbers written in marker. "What company is this for?" I asked. Daniel didn't look up. "Contract work," he said. After another hour, I needed to use the bathroom. "Where's the restroom?" I asked. He paused. "Outside," he said, "behind the building." That felt odd, but I went anyway. When I stepped outside, I noticed something I hadn't before. The parking lot gate was closed, chained shut. I walked back inside. "Hey," I said, trying to sound casual. "The gate's locked." Daniel nodded. "For security." "What if I need to leave early?" I asked. He finally looked at me. "You won't," he said. Something in his tone made my stomach tighten. I checked my phone. No signal. I went back to work, but I couldn't focus. I started paying attention to details I'd ignored before. There were no clocks, no exit signs, and the door we came in through now had a deadbolt locked from the inside. Around 10 p.m., another man entered the warehouse. He didn't say a word, just nodded at Daniel and started working at a different table. Then another. By midnight, there were 4 of us. None of them talked. They all avoided eye contact. I tried to start a conversation with the guy next to me. "How long you been working here?" I asked. He didn't answer. I repeated the question. He leaned closer and whispered, "Don't ask questions." My heart started racing. Around 1 a.m., Daniel walked over and handed me an envelope. "Half payment," he said. Inside was cash, exact amount promised. "Why half?" I asked. "Motivation," he said. I decided I was leaving. "I don't feel well," I said. "I'm heading out." He stared at me for a long moment. "Finish the shift," he said calmly. "I can't," I said. "I need to go." He stepped closer. "You answered the ad," he said. "That means you agreed." "I didn't agree to be locked in," I said. He smiled slightly. "No one said you were locked in." I walked toward the door anyway. It didn't open. I pulled harder. Nothing. Daniel didn't move. "You're overreacting," he said. "People always do at first." "At first?" I asked. He didn't answer. That's when I noticed something written on the wall near the exit. Names, dozens of them, some scratched into the paint, some written in marker, dates next to them. Most ended with the same note. "Didn't finish." I backed away slowly. "What is this place?" I asked. "Temporary," Daniel said. "For most people." I ran, not toward the door, toward the back of the warehouse. I didn't know why. Instinct, maybe. I found another door behind stacks of boxes. It was smaller, rusted. I slammed into it. It opened. Cold air rushed in. I ran into the dark. I didn't stop until I hit the road. A truck driver saw me and pulled over. He called the police. When we went back, the warehouse was empty. No boxes, no tables, no lights. The building was abandoned. Police said it had been shut down years ago. No lease, no registered business. No Daniel, no workers. The cash was real. That's the only thing they couldn't explain. I don't answer vague ads anymore. And I don't trust jobs that don't want your name. Because some places aren't hiring workers. They're collecting people. Story 4. The roommate who never left. I found the ad on Craigslist late at night. I wasn't supposed to be looking for a new place. My lease still had 3 months left. But my landlord had already hinted at a rent increase, and I knew I wouldn't be able to afford it. So I started browsing, just looking. That's when I saw the listing. Private apartment, fully furnished, cheap rent, available immediately. The price was far below anything else in the area, almost suspiciously low. No photos, no full address, just a short description and a phone number. Normally I would skip it, but curiosity won. I texted the number. "Is the apartment still available?" The reply came almost instantly. "Yes, viewing tonight if you're free." That should have been my first warning. It was already after 9 p.m. "Tonight?" I asked. "Is tomorrow okay?" "Tonight is better," the message said. "I have other people interested." I hesitated. Then I thought about how hard it had been to even get replies lately. Every decent place was gone within hours. "Okay," I typed. "Where is it?" He sent an address. It was only 10 minutes away. I told a friend where I was going just in case and drove over. The building was old. Not abandoned, but worn down. The kind of place where the hallway lights flicker and the paint peels. No leasing office. No signs, just a single entrance. I parked across the street and checked the address again. It matched. I texted the number. "I'm here." A few seconds later, the front door buzzed open. No voice, no confirmation, just the sound of the lock releasing. I stepped inside. The hallway smelled like dust and old carpet. The lights were dim, too dim. I walked down the hall until I saw a man standing near one of the doors. He was tall, thin, wearing a dark jacket. "You here for the apartment?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "Follow me." He didn't introduce himself. He unlocked the door and stepped inside first. The apartment was small, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, but clean. Surprisingly clean. Furniture was already there. Couch, table, bed. Everything looked staged, like it was meant to be lived in immediately. "This is nice," I said. He nodded. "People usually say that." I walked around slowly, checking corners, windows, doors. Something felt off, but I couldn't explain why. "Why is the rent so cheap?" I asked. He shrugged. "I don't like empty places." That answer didn't make sense, but I didn't push it. When I stepped into the bedroom, I noticed something strange. There were no personal items, no photos, no decorations. Not even trash. It felt like no one had ever actually lived there. "How long has this place been vacant?" I asked. "Not long," he said. He was standing in the doorway now, blocking it. I moved back toward the living room. "Is there a lease?" I asked. "Yes," he said. "Short term." "How short?" I asked. He smiled. "Flexible." That smile made my stomach tighten. I looked at the front door. It was closed. "Mind if I take some pictures?" I asked. "No," he said quickly. "I don't allow photos." That was my second warning. "I think I need some time to think about it," I said. "I'll get back to you." His smile faded. "Most people decide on the spot," he said. "I don't," I replied. I reached for the door handle. It didn't move. I tried again. Locked. My heart started pounding. "Can you open that?" I asked, keeping my voice calm. He didn't move. "You came to see the apartment," he said slowly. "That means you were interested." "I changed my mind," I said. "That happens," he replied. "But people usually stay a little longer." I stepped back. "What do you mean by that?" He walked toward the kitchen. I noticed then that there was no microwave, no toaster, no signs of daily use, just empty counters. He opened a drawer. I didn't see what was inside. I didn't wait. I ran. I slammed into him, shoved past, and pulled the door handle again. This time it opened. I ran into the hallway and didn't look back. I didn't stop until I was in my car with the doors locked. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely start the engine. I drove home and didn't sleep. The next morning I checked Craigslist. The ad was gone. I tried texting the number, disconnected. I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. 2 days later I got an email. No subject, just a message. "You left your scarf." My blood ran cold. I checked my coat. The scarf I wore that night was missing. I replied immediately. "I didn't leave anything. Don't contact me again." A minute later, another email came. "It's still warm." I blocked the address. That night, someone knocked on my apartment door. Once. Then again, I didn't answer. I looked through the peephole. No one was there. The next morning, my building manager called me. "Did you lose something?" she asked. "There's a scarf in the hallway. Someone said it belonged to you." I went cold. I asked where it was found. "Outside your door," she said. I moved out a week later. Before leaving, I searched the address of that apartment online. There were no listings, no rental history, but there was a police report from 3 years ago. A missing person. Last seen after responding to a Craigslist apartment ad. Same building, same unit number. The case was never solved. Sometimes cheap rent costs more than money.